My sister and I married on the same day. She had a grand procession of 10 miles of red dowry, while I had only a small sedan chair. She comforted me, saying, "The Northwest is rife with war. If your husband should unfortunately die in battle, you may return to the capital and seek refuge with me. My prince, heir to a marquisate, loves me and dotes on me, so he will surely take you in." Unfortunately, fate did not favor her. Her husband was executed for treason, but my husband saved the crown prince and rose to become a new favorite at court. She knelt at my feet, yet wept pitifully, pleading for my husband's pity. What was I to do? My husband is a military man. He knows not how to be tender, only how to kill. From the time I could remember, I knew I was different from my sister. Though we shared the same parents by blood, we bore no resemblance in looks. She perfectly inherited all the best features of our parents, down to our grandmother's dimples, but I seemed to have picked out only their flaws. I even inherited the birthmark that my mother detested. I was young and ignorant then, only feeling that my parents were partial. Whenever there was a banquet in the capital, they would take only my sister. I could only stay home and play cat's cradle with my wet nurse. The maidservants gossiped that my sister was nursed by our mother herself, which was why she was favored. I was raised by my wet nurse, so my mother had no affection for me. In tears, I asked my wet nurse if it was true. She said that our mother had injured her health giving birth to me and couldn't nurse, which was why grandmother had hired a wet nurse for me. Your mother loves you. Don't listen to their nonsense. It's only because you're too young that she doesn't take you out. When you grow up, things will be better. But I was only a year younger than my sister. Not long after, a reckless maidservant, taking advantage of my wet nurse's gentle nature, deliberately said in front of both of us, "The madam of the house saw the same dark birthmark on the second Miss's waist and felt disgust, which is why she refuses to see her." Not only that, she had a difficult labor giving birth to the second Miss and can no longer have children. She was hoping for a legitimate son, but the second Miss turned out to be a girl. How could they not resent her? My wet nurse trembled with rage. She was known as the kindest person in the household, but that time, she would not let it go. She dragged those maidservants to grandmother and demanded justice. Grandmother came from a marquis household and enforced strict discipline, hating nothing more than family discord. She punished those maidservants severely, even having their mouths slapped until they bled. That should have been the end of it. But no one expected grandmother to use this incident to strip my mother of her household management authority. Grandmother accused my mother of being from a humble background, ignorant of domestic affairs, unable to control servants, and causing estrangement between sisters. My mother was not of high birth, but her beauty was striking. If our family had not declined by our father's generation, grandmother would never have agreed to let my mother marry into the family. She had always looked down on my mother, thinking her a seductress, but my father was besotted with her. Not wanting to estrange her son, she had endured it. Now that she had a pretext handed to her, she naturally would not let it pass lightly. My wet nurse had stood up for me to prevent the servants from bullying me in the future, but she ended up becoming a sacrificial pawn in the power struggle between grandmother and mother. Mother lost her authority over the household and took out her resentment on me even more. Ignoring me completely, she kept my sister by her side, raising her with doting care. She cast me aside to my wet nurse, neither asking nor caring, when I was burning with a high fever. My father had accompanied grandmother to the fragrant mountains to pray. My wet nurse had no choice but to beg mother to call a physician for me. Mother showed no sign of panic. She smiled and asked, "Why did you come to report this to me now, old madam? Why didn't you go tell my mother-in-law instead?" My wet nurse's eyes reddened. She knelt and slapped her own face, humbling herself in apology. She went at noon and did not return until night, her legs trembling and her face swollen, dragging a physician from the Huichun hall behind her. Her eyes glistened with tears as she smiled to comfort me. "I've brought the doctor. You won't die. Don't be afraid." I wasn't afraid. I was just sad. With my parched lips, I said, "Nanny, I will be good to you in the future." Tears fell, and my throat burned with raw pain. I coughed violently and burst into tears. After I recovered, my sister fell ill. Unlike her composure when I was sick, my mother lost control. She had never been willing to yield to grandmother, but this time she knelt before her, weeping and begging her to use her influence to summon an imperial physician. Grandmother naturally refused. A minor fever, why should she call an imperial physician? It wasn't as if the girl was dying. My mother left in fury, called in a host of doctors, and kept vigil by my sister's bedside. I held a grudge against my mother for not visiting me and refused to see my sister. My wet nurse urged me, "She is your sister. You should go see her." So I went, because I hadn't seen mother in a long time. I truly missed her, but I never expected she wouldn't want to see me. She blamed me for passing my illness to my sister. Her gaze when she looked at me was filled with hatred and coldness. She told me to get out. She even said that if anything happened to my sister, she would not let me off. My heart ached so much that I didn't want to cry. But as soon as I opened my mouth, tears fell before words could come out. "Mother, I am your daughter too." She faltered there, her gaze gradually growing complicated. She stopped paying me any attention. The servants in the courtyard went about their duties in an orderly fashion. I was forgotten, just like a pillar standing in the room, completely unnoticed. After this incident, gossip in the household was endless. My wet nurse gradually realized that my mother was using me to fight against grandmother. She ached for me and cried, apologizing for her own foolishness in making things worse. Though I felt humiliated, I still embraced my wet nurse. Truth be told, I was happy. That was the first time someone had ever stood up for me. My mother always said that I was born plain, and if I didn't cultivate a gentle, forgiving, and patient nature, even if I did manage to marry, I would end up abandoned. She always looked at me with mockery. She said she could not rely on me for the rest of her life. Only my sister could fulfill her dream of becoming a noble lady of rank. She made me swear that I would never depend on my sister. I swore it, loud and clear. I, too, am a person. I have my dignity. I wished I could leave the Jiang family right then and there, not touching a grain of their rice or a drop of their water. I had never resented her so much. After my wet nurse learned of the oath mother forced me to make, she couldn't sleep night after night, and her hair turned much whiter. A few nights later, she took my hand, as if the words were difficult to say. "Wu Xiao, you must grow up. Your mother has turned against you, but you have to survive. You must be obedient and learn to please your grandmother. Do you understand?" She began to sob as she spoke. I didn't know what she was crying for. Silently, I wiped her tears. I said yes. My wet nurse said that grandmother loathed my mother's beauty and by extension disliked my sister. In noble households, they married for virtue. Only concubines were chosen for their looks. She told me to study hard and learn needlework, so that grandmother might look favorably upon me. Every 7 days, my sister and I had to pay our respects to grandmother. She would examine our progress in our studies. This time, my wet nurse dressed me simply. Compared to my sister, I didn't even look like an official's daughter. My sleeves were half an inch too short. After several such occasions, combined with the gossip in the household, grandmother gradually noticed how differently mother treated us. She berated my father furiously and made my mother kneel in the ancestral hall to reflect on her mistakes. Her dragon head walking stick shattered the square green bricks on the floor. Her scolding voice pierced through the 5-courtyard compound, clear and distinct. "When I chose a wife for you, I told you to marry for virtue, but you were bewitched by beauty and insisted on marrying her. I warned you that a woman from a small household would not know how to manage a family. Wu Xiao and her sister are children of the same parents. Yet look at her, treating her 2 children so differently. How can there be any sisterly affection between them? How will they support each other when they grow up? Don't think I don't know what she's scheming. She thinks Wu Xiao isn't as good-looking as Mingyu, doesn't she? Tell her this. We are a family of officials. Our daughters do not rely on their looks to win favor. That's what those low and rotten households do." My mother fainted from the shock. When she woke, she resented and loathed me even more. She refused to see me anymore. And somehow, I no longer felt sad because of her. For grandmother's birthday, I worked with my wet nurse through the night to embroider 100 longevity tapestry. In comparison, my sister's calligraphy and painting fell somewhat short. Grandmother was so pleased she couldn't stop smiling, while my mother's face turned ashen. With a sweet smile and the coyness of a young girl, I showed my disfigured hands from the work as I poured tea for grandmother. She held me with great tenderness and had someone bring salve for my wounds. A picture of perfect grandmother-granddaughter harmony. My mother was so incensed that she scolded me in front of everyone for being calculating at such a young age. She should not have berated me at grandmother's birthday banquet. After all, I was still her daughter. There were guests and relatives of grandmother's natal family present that day. She embarrassed grandmother without even realizing it. Grandmother spared her public humiliation and did not scold her on the spot. Instead, she told my father that she would raise me herself. Even my mother, foolish as she was, understood the difference between a daughter raised by the legitimate daughter of a marquis and one raised by her. She cried and made a scene with my father, demanding that grandmother take my sister as well. Grandmother naturally refused. My mother had no idea what I had done to earn grandmother's favor. Every day at the 5th watch, I rose to gather morning dew from the garden to brew tea for grandmother. At noon, I learned to make the pastries she loved. Amidst heavy schoolwork, I also studied medical texts to understand dietary therapy. Even my calligraphy was modeled after grandmother's favorite style. How sycophantic, how humble, how difficult my struggle for survival was. How could my mother ever understand my pain? Since grandmother refused to take my sister in, mother redoubled her efforts to cultivate her. She spent an incalculable amount on my sister's appearance each year. She abandoned my sister's training in policy and strategy, focusing only on poetry, music, painting, and calligraphy. She told her that these were the pleasures of the boudoir and the means to foster affection between husband and wife. She said that only a man's official career was a woman's future. She burned incense daily, praying that my sister would marry into a powerful family. When this reached grandmother's ears, she was so angry she smashed several teacups. Grandmother trained me rigorously. She made me learn writing, archery, history, and commerce. Wu Shao, beauty fades with time. Only by standing on your own 2 feet can you truly stand firm. No one else is a reliable support. Relying on looks to win favor, how long can that last? And in this world, how many men are as devoted as your father? Your mother met one such man, and now she thinks all men are like that. She will ruin your sister. My sister and I were not close. She resented me and looked down on me. She believed I had betrayed our mother and sided with grandmother. After my coming-of-age ceremony, grandmother found a match for me. The prospective groom was Lin Yi, the only son of the left military commissioner. Though his father was only a 6th-rank official, the family was small and uncomplicated. His mother had passed away early, so I would have no mother-in-law to contend with. His uncle was a wealthy merchant. Grandmother and father personally examined Lin Yi's scholarship and deemed him capable of coming first in the Imperial examinations. His classmates vouched for his integrity. They praised him for coming from a military family yet excelling in letters, surpassing many sons of civil officials. I was satisfied with the match and knew grandmother had put great effort into finding such a good family for me. My sister, however, disdained Lin Yi's father's low rank and said to me coldly, "If you marry him, don't bother associating with me anymore. Such a shabby family is beneath my dignity." I couldn't be bothered with her. No one wants to associate with you anyway. She had her own pride. By then, she was attending all the garden parties in the capital with my mother, being introduced to the sons of officials of the 3rd rank and above. Though grandmother disapproved of mother's frivolity, she still hoped that my sister would marry well and pave the way for our brothers' careers. So when mother went to the accounting office for funds to buy my sister finery, grandmother did not stop her. She even had her senior maid give my sister 2 pieces of her own dowry jewelry. I knew that in great families, prosperity was shared. Grandmother was acting for the glory of the whole household. But I still felt a pang in my heart. That winter, heavy snow sealed the mountains, and the White Deer Academy gave the scholars a holiday. Lin Yi came to our house before the Lunar New Year. To avoid impropriety and ensure everything went smoothly, grandmother had arranged for mother to take my sister to the Pingyang Marquis plum viewing banquet. But halfway there, my sister complained of a headache, and mother had no choice but to turn back. Grandmother was displeased and warned my sister, "Today is your sister's important day. Stay in your courtyard and do not come out. Your path is different from your sister's. She does not stand in the way of your glorious future." My sister lowered her head in acquiescence. Grandmother had gone all out for this occasion. She brought out her finest jewelry for me and hired the best makeup artist. I had grown up, not ugly, but plain. With proper adornment, I could at best be called delicate. As long as I wasn't standing next to my sister, it wasn't too bad. Over the years, my sister had blossomed into a ravishing beauty. Every smile and gesture made the other ladies pale in comparison. I truly envied her. Just before the midday meal, I went to the kitchen to personally prepare the 6 gentlemen's soup, as grandmother had instructed. Lin Ye's father had a weak stomach, and this soup would be perfect for him. I was busy in the kitchen, and when I came out through the arched gate covered in hanging flowers, what I saw was my sister, her hand covering her lips, speaking to Lin Yi. His ears were red, his eyes resting on her with bashfulness. Too timid to look long for fear of being disrespectful. A young man's first love is always clumsy. I pinched my handkerchief so hard that my nails pierced my fingertips, but I held back. My sister laughed innocently, radiant in her beauty. "Master Lin, this is my younger sister. Perhaps soon we shall be family." She winked at him playfully. Lin Yi could barely contain his emotions, disappointment flashing across his eyes. I felt as if I had fallen into an icy abyss, frozen to the bone. "Miss Jiang," I overstepped. He caught himself, composed his expression, and began to distance himself from my sister. He gave me an apologetic smile, nodded, and left with a bow. What had he thought? That the woman he was to wed was the legitimate eldest daughter of the Jiang family. And my sister, of course, hadn't revealed her identity, letting him believe it was her. I looked at Jiang Mingyu. She smiled at me, taking my hand, her expression innocent yet troubled. "Sister, what do you think will happen if Master Lin says he wants to marry me during the meal?" I smiled back. "Then marry him." She didn't get to see me disheartened. She let go of my hand with a bored air. "A man like him, with a face like yours, is a perfect match." A light blush appeared on her cheeks. "I, on the other hand, am meant for a noble prince. Otherwise, wouldn't I be wasting this beautiful face mother gave me?" I looked steadily at her stunning face. Even though I loathed her, I couldn't help but nod. "Indeed, you are beautiful." My compliment pleased her. But is it really a good thing for a fool to be so beautiful? When the meal began, the kitchen served the 6 gentlemen's soup I had prepared. Grandmother nodded at me approvingly. I personally ladled a bowl for Lin Ye's father. After tasting it, he beamed with delight and praised me. "Wu Xiao truly has wonderful skill. Our family has been blessed with few children, only this one son, and I've never had the joy of having a daughter. If I could have Wu Xiao as my daughter-in-law, grandmother." My sister's laughing voice came from behind the screen. I looked up involuntarily at Lin Yi. He did not show the panic or expectation I had imagined. Instead, he gave me a gentle smile, his gaze steady, as if he hadn't heard my sister at all. I looked away. Grandmother's face froze for a moment, her fingers gripping her prayer beads turning white. Jiang Mingyu emerged gracefully from behind the screen. She had changed her clothes and reapplied her makeup, even more breathtakingly beautiful than when she had met Lin Yi in the garden. She was beautiful. She knew it, and she knew how to make the most of it. I lowered my gaze, hiding my scorn. My sister resented me for siding with grandmother and wanted to ruin my most important day. She wanted to humiliate me, to make the man I was supposed to marry fall at her feet, to get back at me for our mother. But she forgot one thing. Grandmother was still alive. By appearing today, she was embarrassing grandmother too. As for me, I didn't care who I married as long as I could leave the Jiang family and become my own mistress. If I lost Lin Yi, Grandmother could find me someone else, Zhou Yi, Sun Yi, Bai Yi. As for Lin Yi, as long as he still had ambition for an official career, no matter how captivated he might be by Jiang Mingyu's beauty, he would never on such a day change the bride. So Jiang Mingyu's scheme was doomed. Her appearance caused no stir. Lin Yi did not look at her, nor did he show the foolish adoration her suitors displayed. The entire Guian hall was so quiet it seemed frozen. Lin Ye's father looked embarrassed. Grandmother suppressed the flames in her eyes and forced a smile. This is my eldest daughter. Lin Ye's father smiled. She looks like her mother. After my sister sat down, she kept glancing at Lin Yi, but he sat perfectly straight, looking everywhere except at her. Shortly after she sat down, Lin Ye's father rose and took his leave. The engagement was put on hold. My sister smiled at me and whispered, "How unfortunate." I smiled back. Yes. How unfortunate, dear sister. You're about to be punished. Only then did she realize that all the servants in the hall had withdrawn. Only grandmother and we two remained. Jiang Mingyu, kneel, grandmother thundered. My sister bit her lip and slowly knelt. I don't know what I've done wrong. Before she could finish, grandmother's walking stick came down hard on her back. She immediately spat blood and collapsed, her vision going dark. Grandmother dropped her stick, breathing heavily. I hurried to support her. She shouted, "Drag her to the ancestral hall. No medical attention. Her life or death is up to fate." My sister was dragged away. Almost immediately, my mother rushed in with my father. Her eyes were bloodshot, abandoning all decorum as she demanded of grandmother, "What has Mingyu done wrong? Why can't you tolerate her?" Seeing the blood on the floor, she was heartbroken and furious. She lunged at me, slapping me twice, sobbing and cursing. "It's all you. It must be you stirring up trouble again. How has your sister wronged you? Why do you have to turn your grandmother against her?" Grandmother angrily pulled me away. "There's no need for you to be so roundabout. I don't owe you an explanation. Get out and kneel in the courtyard. If you refuse, go back to your own family." My mother glared at grandmother, then turned to my father. He said, embarrassed, "Go kneel. You went too far today. How could you strike her in front of mother?" My mother wiped her tears, shot me a venomous look, and said, "I'll kneel in the ancestral hall. I'll stay with my daughter." After she left, grandmother collapsed into her chair and called for medicine to treat my face. My father couldn't help asking, "Mother, what exactly did Mingyu do?" "Isn't this too harsh?" grandmother sneered. "Mingyu is now useless. Her mother has ruined her. She has no regard for her sister. She knew full well I was arranging a match for her sister today. Lin Ye's family and status are beneath her, and I told her that Wu Zhao's marriage to the Lin family would not affect her or her future. If this match succeeded, our family would have connections in the military. The Lin family has been a military household for 100 years. Though they've declined by his father's generation, generations of them have served in the army. You've seen Lin Ye's scholarship and martial skills. He'll revive the family." But what did Mingyu do? I told her to leave with her mother in the morning. She first pretended to be ill and came back. Then she went into the garden, pretending to be Wu Xiao, and spoke with Lin Yi for half an hour. My father stood up abruptly, his face dark, and asked me, "Wu Xiao, is this true?" Grandmother slammed the table. "Would this old woman lie to you? If her character were half decent, would I not wish for her to marry well with that face? If she had stopped there, I might still have given her another chance. But she was utterly shameless. Just as I was about to finalize the betrothal with Lord Lin, she came dressed in her finest, staring unblinkingly at Lin Yi. Even Lord Lin was embarrassed and had to take his son and leave, hurrying away. Such a foolish, wicked daughter. Do you expect her to advance your sons and nephews' careers? She'll bring the whole family down with her." My father slumped in his chair, pale. In his younger days, he had doted on my mother and even dismissed his concubines. But as his official career progressed and he grew older, he became more obsessed with power. He had taken new concubines and now had 4 sons. Grandmother said coldly. Since she's so set on Lin Yi, let her marry him. A low marriage to clean up the mess is better than a high marriage that ends in annihilation. My father broke out in a cold sweat and acknowledged her command. He went out and set the matter in motion. As expected, my mother made a scene, crying and threatening. But this time, father refused to relent. Mother had no choice. As the Imperial examinations began and Lin Yi passed with honors, the engagement with my sister was confirmed. Lord Lin initially refused, thinking my sister too beautiful, that Lin Yi couldn't match her and wouldn't be able to keep her. But after my father drank with him a few times, the engagement was settled. My sister wept bitterly, threatening suicide and wanting to fight me. The abuses my mother heaped on me were unspeakable. My wet nurse covered my ears and fed me a piece of candy. Wu Xiao, don't be sad. I smiled at her and buried myself in her embrace. Her scent comforted me, made me feel happy. I'm not sad. Nanny, a mother is a choice. And children are a choice. She chose not to want me. I can choose someone else as my mother. I can't even remember what she looks like. Every time I meet her, she feels like a stranger. My wet nurse rubbed my head, tears falling silently. She always ached for me. I ached for her too. I had already chosen her as my mother. One day, I would call her mother openly. Without Lin Yi, grandmother began looking for another match for me. But before she could settle on anyone, Xiao Yi, the heir to the Northern Pacification Marquis, arrived at our doorstep. Grandmother and father received him with trepidation. The Northern Pacification Marquis was a veteran of 3 reigns, a man of legendary military merit. Xiao Yi himself was the crown prince's study companion. Having grown up with him, his future prospects needed no elaboration. He stated directly, 3 months ago, at the prefectural ladies' banquet, I was captivated by the eldest Miss Jiang at first sight. I have come to propose marriage. Grandmother faltered, trying to find polite words of refusal, but my father smiled and accepted. It is our daughter's honor. Xiao Yi nodded. I would like to see the eldest Mississippi. After that meeting, within days, Lin Yi, who had just received his official appointment, was demoted. He was sent to the remote northwestern border town as a county magistrate. My father argued. They said it was the legitimate daughter. Originally, the Lin family had wanted Wu Xiao too, but grandmother refused. Then call it off. Let the Lin family argue with the Marquis' mansion. Lin Yi has offended the Xiao family. How can he still have a future? Father said anxiously. But if this matter isn't settled with the Lin family, and they complain to the censorate, what good will that do us? Lord Lin says because of this marriage, his son has offended the Xiao family and can't find a wife now. He demands we make amends. We've raised Wu Xiao for years. Now that our family is in trouble, can't she do something for us? My father said this deliberately for me to hear. I stepped out from the side chamber. I'll marry him. Father beamed with joy. Grandmother sighed. My wet nurse wept. Only I was glad. Finally, I would leave the Jiang family. Even after changing the bride to me, Lord Lin's anger was not fully appeased. Only after my sister promised that once she married into the Marquis' household, she would persuade Xiao Yi to recall Lin Yi from the border town did Lord Lin reluctantly relent. My sister deliberately set her wedding date on the same day as mine. Lin Yi had been demoted, so my wedding could not be grand. She had 10 miles of red dowry. I had only a small sedan chair. She comforted me. The Northwest is rife with war. If your husband dies, you can return to the capital and come to me. He loves me and will surely take you in. I did not answer her. Instead, I looked through my veil at her slightly swollen belly. Xiao Ye's harem was full of beauties, yet none had borne him a child. I hoped her child would survive the dangerous intrigues of that household. Grandmother gave me my wet nurse as a dowry. Over the years, she had used me as a tool against my mother, repeatedly making her lose face and authority. And I, to survive, had willingly played along. But grandmother had also genuinely protected me, taught me many skills, and given me most of her dowry. Whether calculation or genuine feeling, we had shared many moments of true warmth. That was enough. One does not need to understand everything too clearly. Those who see too clearly find little happiness. The sedan chair swayed on the bearer's shoulders. It carried me farther and farther from the Jiang family. This was the departure I had longed for. I would not look back. Lin Yi had been demoted, so the wedding banquet was simple. Many of their former acquaintances, fearing to offend the Xiao family, dared not attend. There were few guests. Not long after I was in the bridal chamber, Lin Yi arrived. I expected him to resent me, but he did not. Every step of the wedding ritual was performed with care and attention. When the veil was lifted, I saw his handsome face. He was very good-looking. So good-looking that I couldn't help imagining, if we had children, perhaps they would improve upon me. Maybe they would look like him. A ridiculous thought. I had designs on his appearance. How shallow of me. He extended his hand, smiling. In his brown eyes, I saw my own flushed face reflected. Spring radiance sparkled in the room. "Madam, let us drink the wedding wine." His voice was pleasing too. I felt a tightness in my chest, my heart growing warm. Perhaps the wedding robes were too tight. Around us were his relatives. Amidst their cheering, I drank the wine. He smiled, his eyes full of tenderness. I told myself to stay calm, but it was hard. He was both a warrior and a scholar. Fair-skinned yet strong. I thought of the illustration my wet nurse had given me and felt my face burn. After seeing off his family, he closed the door. My heart beat with his every step. When he came to me and cupped my face, ready to kiss me, I turned my head. "Demotion and swapping brides, don't you resent me for it?" He turned my face back, forcing me to meet his eyes. "The Xiao family's business has nothing to do with you. I know that if you'd had a choice, you wouldn't have married me. The matches your grandmother was considering for you later were no worse than me. Madam, I have read many sage texts not to take my anger out on the innocent." My heart settled. If I didn't love him and only respected him as a husband, he would be a good match. But I rather liked his face and his body. Make the most of the present. Having made up my mind, I kissed him first. Beauty and the ordinary, we ordinary folk are the ones who benefit. There was no need for false modesty. I felt I had the better end of the deal. Lin Yi was startled for a moment, his ears reddening, before he awkwardly returned the kiss. The next morning, when I paid my respects to my father-in-law, there was none of the awkwardness I had anticipated. He treated me courteously and considerately. The Lin family had few members. All of them, men and women, had learned martial arts from childhood, and marriages were typically with other military families. Everyone got along freely and directly. So different from the Jiang household, where every word required layers of interpretation. Before the return visit, Lin Yi had to leave for his post in the northwest. The night before he left, he consulted with his father and said to me, "Stay in the capital. The northwest is harsh and cold, you won't endure it. I'll be back soon. I'll write to you often. My father is very pleased with you as a daughter-in-law. He loves your 6 gentlemen's soup. The nieces and nephews love the sachets and knee guards you embroidered for them. Everyone in the Lin family likes you. Stay here, they'll treat you well, and I'll have peace of mind." Indeed, the Lin family was wonderful. In just 2 days, even my wet nurse seemed much happier. Here, for the first time, I tasted freedom and respect. "Let me go with you. I want to see the world." All these years in the Jiang household, I've been confined to the inner quarters. I've never stepped outside. My grandmother loved me. She hired many tutors for me. I know many things. I can ride, play polo, take pulses, make medicinal dishes, and even do business. Lin Yi, let me go out and see the Northwest's customs and landscapes. Add some color and experience to my barren life. His eyes showed reluctance. It will be hard. I'm not afraid of hard work. Physical exhaustion can always be rested away, but spiritual exhaustion cannot be cured, no matter how much medicine or sleep. Lin Yi agreed to take me. On the day we left, I went to bid grandmother farewell. She wept for me. "Don't cry, grandmother. How fortunate, among my family, at least one person could shed a tear for me. The journey was not peaceful. Lin Yi faced several assassination attempts. I didn't understand why Xiao Yi was so bent on destroying him. When Lin Yi was wounded in the shoulder by a poisoned arrow, I had to take him into the mountains to treat him. He watched me search for herbs, catch a few snakes, and extract their gallbladders with deft skill. I was calm. He was not. After the poison was neutralized, he drifted off to sleep. When he woke, all he said was, "Madam, thank goodness for you." Yes. Good thing you brought me along. What I really wanted to say was, this is thrilling. I'd only read of such adventures in storybooks. Everything outside the Jiang family excited me. I even thought of leaving Lin Yi behind and running off on my own. I had enough money to travel the world. But thinking of my wet nurse still at the Lin household, and my father-in-law who had entrusted me with all his wealth, I suppressed the impulse. Arriving at the border town, I first swallowed a mouthful of sand. Refreshing. Lin Yi took up his post smoothly. The winds of the border were bleak and wild, and the people were just as rough and straightforward. My writing skills improved greatly here. It was the first time I saw Lin Yi ride. In his fitted short jacket, his waist was cinched into a fine line. I was about to ask how his arrow wound was healing when he had already spurred his horse forward. His dashing back and flying hair gave me the illusion that Lin Yi here, at the border, was freer and more at ease than Lin Yi in the capital. He reined in and circled back, stopping before me, arrogant and carefree. He said, "Race." His demeanor made me feel, absurdly, that he was seducing me. I mounted my horse. He said, "I have a more impressive way to get on a horse. Want to know? What is it?" He dismounted from his horse, climbed onto mine, took the reins, and urged the horse forward. I was enveloped in his embrace. I lied. I just wanted you to feel this wind with me. Wu Xiao. I grew up here. This is my homeland. His last words carried a hint of bitterness. The capital is no good. This place is good. I dreamed of returning, but I couldn't. The Lin family's burden was on me. I had to give up my little horses and sheep and enter officialdom. But one day, I will come back. His youthful cry echoed across the desert plain. So we were both that young. Lin Yi and I spent 2 peaceful years in the border town. Through our bets, I had turned 2 shops profitable, proving him wrong several times. So you weren't lying. You really can do everything. I snorted. Of course. I also learned many types of noodles. I wrote down my recipes and sent them to grandmother and my wet nurse in the capital. They both said they were delicious. After the Qingming festival, Lin Yi suddenly grew busy. He used to come home on time for meals. Now he often didn't. My life had changed so dramatically that I didn't notice the worry on his brow or the approaching storm. One night, he suddenly called for me and handed me a bundle of documents. These are new household registrations and deeds. These banknotes I exchanged in haste. I was bewildered. I'd never seen so much money, more than grandmother's dowry. What's happened? He said gravely. My demotion here was part of the Crown Prince's plan. He sent me to uncover the Xiao family's secret agents and evidence of their treason, selling military equipment and colluding with the enemy. The Crown Prince's maternal uncle, General Zhang, died on the battlefield 18 years ago. The real killer was the Northern Pacification Marquis. Last month, I sent the evidence of the Xiao family's crimes to the Crown Prince. But in the Eastern Palace, the Crown Prince's personal attendant was bribed by Xiao Yi and leaked the information. The Xiao family will likely rebel and raise troops. I am the Crown Prince's man. Many of the officers in the Northwest Army are my elders. I must lead them to the capital to defend the Crown Prince. If I go, you become my weakness. Wu Xiao, take care of yourself, so I can do what I must. He took out a letter of divorce, hesitated, and handed it to me with reluctance. Silly girl, you haven't even realized your feelings yet. His voice grew choked. If I come back alive, I'll tell you some things, tell you how I feel. If I die, well, you never loved me anyway. Whether you remarry or set up your own household, I know you'll do well without needing my advice. After speaking, He heard 2 cuckoo calls from outside, grabbed his sword, and left. He didn't even wait for my answer. Soon after he left, several men came to escort me away. After half a month of travel, I was settled in a small town, name unknown. Lin Yi was right, I didn't love him. Even now, I ate well, slept well, and rose early. But I still prayed for him to live and succeed. Because when we had lived together in mutual respect, I had truly been happy. I had shelter, and someone who indulged me without interfering in anything I did. If only he were my father. 3 months later, I started vomiting with pregnancy. I decided I would give Lin Yi 1 more month. If he didn't appear by then, I would abort the child. 1 month passed. He still hadn't come. I prepared an abortion decoction. The medicine pot bubbled away. On the 3rd boil, Lin Yi kicked open my door, dusty from the road, and knocked over my pot. Unfeeling woman. I didn't cry, but he did. I risked my life to earn you a title, and you won't even keep my child. I nodded. If you live, I'll keep it. If you die, I won't. I'm going to live well. Fine. I'll give you a good life. From now on, it will be all good days. Only then did I learn that the Xiao family's rebellion had been suppressed. Xiao Yi had taken the crown prince hostage, nearly killing him. In the critical moment, Lin Yi had risked his own life to save the crown prince. He was rewarded with a marquis, granted a mansion by the emperor, and I received a noble title. The Xiao family was sentenced to death. Just as we returned to the capital, my mother came. She had run away secretly. Father and grandmother would never do something so foolish, asking Lin Yi to plead for the Xiao family. But my mother would. She wept bitterly. I only felt she was a stranger. I didn't recognize her at all. Show her out. She is not my mother. My mother is Shui Guilan. Shui Guilan was my wet nurse. Lady Jiang cursed me loudly outside. Before long, my father came and dragged her away. She was confined to the house. In these times, anyone connected to the Xiao family was doomed. The emperor entrusted Lin Yi with trying the Xiao family's remaining members. When it came time to interrogate the women, Lin Yi sent word that he was hungry and asked me to bring him some sweet soup. When I arrived, my sister was kneeling in the hall, dazed. She knelt at my feet, yet wept pitifully, begging my husband for pity. Lin Yi, what happened back then was not my choice. I wanted to marry you. Please, have pity on a weak woman and spare me. I'll even be your concubine. What was I to do? My husband is a military man. He knows not how to be tender, only how to kill. Lin Yi said a few words to the guards nearby. Soon after, the chief minister of the Court of Judicial Review arrived. With such history, how could I preside? Better let you handle this woman. Everyone knew the new chief minister of the was relentless and impartial. No one who came before him left with all their limbs intact. Lin Yi led me out. Behind us came the chief minister's stern, cold voice. Execute the sentence. Lin Yi covered my ears. Let's go home. On the way back, I asked Lin Yi, did you have me come just to see that? He nodded. I told you, if I came back alive, I'd explain some things. If I didn't, it would be better to let you misunderstand than to have you miss me. I couldn't help laughing. He pinched my cheek. When we were discussing the match, she pretended to be you and met me. I thought she was you, the one I was to marry. She was beautiful, and I did feel something for her at first sight. But then you appeared, and I knew it was a scheme. The women's inner chambers are not known for sophisticated plots. I understood almost instantly what she was doing. Naturally, the attraction vanished. What remained was guilt toward you. I should have asked more questions. I should have asked for your portrait, or at least for some description. But I was thin-skinned and thought it improper to ask for a lady's likeness. Later, before the banquet began, your wet nurse stopped me. She was anxious and tearful as she explained. She told me that though you weren't as beautiful as your sister, you were a wonderful girl. She told me about your hardships growing up, and begged me not to change the bride, even if I had taken a liking to Jiang Mingyu. She wept so bitterly. My own mother died early. My father believed in beating children into shape. No one had ever cared for me that way. So I thought, you must have suffered so much, to make your wet nurse, unrelated by blood, cherish you so deeply and risk everything to protect you. I was speechless. When I tried to speak, tears came first. My wet nurse, my mother, she always did everything for me, yet never told me. Lin Yi lowered his head, his forehead touching mine. I know you've always minded what happened that day. I have regretted it every single day. Wu Xiao, a lifetime is long. I spent 3 years getting to know you, understanding what kind of woman you are, and I fell in love with you. I have many years ahead to do many things for you, to show you my heart, my true feelings. I will protect you well. It was touching, but I still chose to keep things as they were. I didn't want to gamble. Our state was already best. I lied and told him I had torn up the divorce paper. In truth, I had kept it safe. I believe you. You don't believe me at all. He was utterly helpless. 5 months later, the Xiao family were executed, and my sister was among them. Lady Jiang couldn't bear the shock and went mad overnight. She was old and faded, no longer possessing the beauty of her youth. My father had taken new concubines. He grew weary of mother and sent her off with a cup of poisoned wine. I did not go to see her. My wet nurse sat under the eaves, rocking my child to sleep. Her face was radiant with a gentle smile. I felt a warmth in my heart. She had held me just like this when I was little. Step by step, she had raised me. But back then, she had no white hair. Now she was old, and I had grown. Her health was not as robust as before, but I had learned to stand on my own. She protected me when I was small. I would care for her in her old age. Mother, I want some osmanthus cakes. All right, I'll make them for you. The story is now complete. Thank you for listening. Please subscribe and support me.